Welcome to our fourth session or lesson for the mentorship program. We started last time, we were talking about reading building plans, and we're going to continue that. I was actually looking to do that in about 4 segments. So this will be like part B of the reading building plans segment. Now, we have some activity on the site that will correlate with our lesson. So I want to bring that up now. The last time that we discussed, we had a discussion on the building plans. We we discussed the foundation. I want to bring us back to the foundation because it is the beginning of everything, right? The building blocks is your foundation. So to build a house, you have to first have your foundation, right? Before you can build the actual house on the property. So the last time we looked at this, we went over the foundation. So I'm going to go deeper into the foundation. So now we've cleared the land. We've gone through that. We've graded. We've looked at a survey. We've looked at a site plan. We understand all of that. We see how the house is going to look. So now we're actually about to start. How do we start? How do we create our foundation? Well, in this particular plan, okay, this is going to be the building plan and this is the foundation section. We have a layout of the house, right? We have what the house is going to look like. This is the house. Let me bring it down some, 25. So this is how the house will look. This is the layout of the house, the foundation. Now, the key things about this foundation we need to look at is this perimeter that is created all around here. Okay, just follow me now, just on the perimeter. I'm not talking about what's in the middle here. I'm talking about what is on the exterior perimeter of your house. Okay, this area is your foundation where your footing will go. Okay, this area is called the footing. All right here. The drawing might not be the best, but you'll follow along. Okay, so all around here, all around here, all around here. All through here. This is considered where your footings will go for your house. Now, the footings are important because this is where the bulk load of your house is going to rest on. This is where when the house sits, all the weight from the roof, the second floor, the first floor, all that weight is resting on the outer walls of your property. So in it, you have to have reinforcement. There has to be reinforcement to hold all that weight. Okay. So, well, how do we know how to do it? We'll get to a video shortly and you'll see how it's being done. But this plan tells you how to do it. All right. So let's go to the detail of the footing. Okay. This is the details of your footing right here. So if you look at this section right here, this segment, if you look at this right here, it tells you, it says 1 foot 8 inches. Let me see if I can blow it up even more. Okay. It says the width of this footing is going to be 1 foot 8 inches. So basically, we're going to dig a hole in the ground. Okay, that's going to be a footing. A hole will be dug in the ground that's going to follow all of this yellow line. And this hole that we dig is called your footing because that's going to be the foot of your foundation, right? That's where all your extra solid reinforcement will be for your house. So this particular area has details, and your plans is going to tell you how to do that. There may be some plans that say this needs to be 2 feet or 3 feet wide, okay? But in this particular case, it's calling for us to be 1 foot 8 inches, okay? So if 1 foot is 12 inches, 8 inches is another 8 inches plus 12, that's 20 inches. So that means altogether in this area, our footing is going to be at least, now it can be more if you want to, but you have to meet the minimum per the plans. It's going to be at least 20 inches wide or 1 foot 8 inches wide. Okay. And then how deep is it going to be? That's how wide it's going to be when we dig it out. But how deep is it going to be? Well, you have your answer right here. This tells you that from the level of the ground to how deep it's going to be is what? 2 feet. That's 24 inches, 2 feet. So we're going to be at least 20 inches wide and 24 inches deep. All right. So 20 inches wide or 1 foot 8 inches and 24 inches deep or 2 feet deep. That's going to be the foundation of this area right here. Okay. What else goes into this area after you dig it out? Well, it tells you right here in your concrete footing, which is this, which will be this. This is a cross section of this. Okay. If we're looking at this from the top, this is what it looks like. Right? Everything we're seeing here is looking at it from the top. If we're standing up above it and looking down, that's what it's going to look like. But if you take a cross section of it and cut it out and you look at it from the side at the bottom, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to be this wide and this deep. So what else goes into this footing after we've cut it 20 inches wide and dug it 2 feet deep? Well, this shows you right here. You're going to have reinforcement. Okay, right here, reinforcement. It says 2, number 4. You see that? 2, number 4. Well, what is 2, number 4? First, this is 1, and then this is 2. Okay. These two things, this number 4 is your rebar. It's your rebar. It's the rod that's going to go into it. And you'll see it in our video. Okay. It's a rebar and it has to be 2 of them inside of this. So when you cut this open, when you dig this out, you're going to drop 2 rebar wires all throughout the entire foundation. All this yellow line area we've done, you're going to have 2 rebar wires all throughout the entire foundation. Okay. So we're going to look at that. So you'll see the footing and what we need to do. And then after your footing, okay, we're going to now discuss the slab. Because first you do your footings, and inside of your footings is your slab. All of this area. All this area is all slab. But you'll notice something. All right, you'll notice something. Let me see. You'll notice something here in the slab area. We have these little things that's going around. We have these little things going around, and it is right here. They look like the footings, don't they? They look just like the footings. but they're not footings. Okay. Everything here, let me reduce this. Everything here that we're going to deal with on the inside, all through here, all through here, all through here, okay, all through here, all through here, all the little pieces that look like the footings, okay, these right here, they're not footings, but you're going to treat them the same way. These are called grade beams. Okay, these are called grade beams. So these grade beams, they have a purpose as well. Okay, these grade beams, all these here, all these here, all these here, all these here, all the ones that you see all throughout here, they have a purpose. All right, and I will show you what that is. But they're called grade beams. So in the grade beams, you're going to treat it like the footing. We're going to dig it down, but we're not going to dig it as deep and as wide as the footing. We're going to dig it. Well, let me not say as wide. We're going to dig it as wide, right? You have the same width, about 20 inches, 1 foot, 8 inches. However, you're not going to go as deep, as in 2 feet deep, like how the footings are. We are going to go down. We are going to dig it down, okay, to give it some depth. And then we're going to put the 2 number 4 rebars in them as well. So the same rebar that goes in the footings all around, the same rebar is going to go into all these grade beam areas. It's to create reinforcement, okay? And let me take you back to see why we need the grade beams. We know we need the footings because that's what's going to hold your walls. That's where all your foundation, that's where all your walls are going to rest on. So you need that, right? But why do we need the grade beams? Okay, let me show you. So if you look at it, if you look at our plan, our grade beams is covering these areas here, here, basically everywhere in the inside that there's a support wall. Okay, we have it coming here. We have it here. We have it here. You have 2 floors here. Okay, this is your first floor. This is your second floor. So if I reduce this some, you will notice that your second floor, there are walls here. This is your stair area. There are bedrooms here. There are walls here, okay, which correlate with these walls. So there's this area, which correlate with this area. There's a wall here in the bedroom area, which corresponds to this area, okay? So you have several walls upstairs along with the roof, which puts weight and makes these walls load bearing. So these walls are bearing the load, and those loads are transferred to the first floor. From the second floor to the first floor, you have that weight coming down, okay? So all that weight that's coming from the first floor to the second floor, the engineer, who is also the architect, found it necessary to reinforce that weight. And so because of that weight being transferred from the top, second floor to the first floor, the engineer decided to put supports and reinforcement, which is called grade beams. And that is why we have the grade beams on the foundation plan. Okay? That's why we have the grade beams on the foundation plan to give us additional support, sort of like what we have going on our exterior walls. Okay? All right. So now let's look at another thing. So once we have our foundation, once we have our footings, okay, there comes something else before we can do our grade beam. Okay. I'm showing you this because you need to see it, but the grade beam doesn't come next. What comes is the foundation footings. After the foundation footings, then we're going to go into the next thing, which will be the plumbing slab. So let's look at this video about the foundation footings, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss the next phase, which will be the plumbing slab. And then after the plumbing slab, we're going to get into the slab itself. Okay? All right. All right. So we're here on the site right now. All right, with the foundation team. We've had some rain. So they're digging out all that water and wet dirt. They're getting it all clear out for our footings. So in our lesson that we're going to discuss today, the foundation, let me go ahead and show you what we're looking at. Okay. We definitely looked at the foundation breakdown, which shows how it will be laid out on the site. It showed us that we had 2 rebars, okay, for the footings. It shows you the dimensions of the footings, and it shows you how we're going to prepare the slab and what goes into it. Okay, so let's walk through that real quick, brief. So we've already discussed the layout of the building, right? We talked about the forms that we're doing, the wood form, which forms the exact layout of what we're building. Okay, this is the form. This is what forms the border of our slab. Now, what are we looking at? We have to consider our footing. This is the footing, okay? If you look at it, the footing is what's been dug that goes around the perimeter of your foundation, okay? So if we look at it, we have dug out the footing. Like what he's doing is clearing out the footing more. So if I go all around the building, you're going to see this is the perimeter, okay, of our footing. Or this is the perimeter of our footing. So your footing is what forms the perimeter for your house, the foundation that's going to go on it. Okay? So you can see all of this. All of this is our footing. Okay? All the way around. In fact, I'm going to jump into our footing. Very hard, solid ground. Okay? That's what they dig out to. Very hard, solid ground. All that gets cleaned out. Okay? So, all right. So when we look at our footing, it's a couple of things. In our drawings, we're going to see that we have to be at least 20 inches. At least 20 inches, right? It's 1'8". So from here, our footing is going to be at least 20 inches. That's 1'8". 1'8", 20 inches. That's how wide it's going to be. And then we're going to be at least 24 inches down. Okay, so from here, 24 inches down, a little bit deeper, doesn't hurt. That's the minimum. Okay? Now, that's the minimums. Now, you have rebar. This is your rebar. The number 4 rebar. The plans call for two number 4 rebar. Okay? This is what you see in your plans. 2 number 4 rebar, and it's going around. This is the chair that they sit on. This is the chair that the rebar sits on. So it's tied in by wire, and that's what they sit on. That's what keeps it elevated. Concrete is going to go underneath and above it. All right? So you have your rebar, your 2 number 4 rebar. Pay attention to this. This is actually your ground wire. This is a requirement. This is a ground wire. This is our garage. Okay? So this ground wire is where your electrician is going to tie all his wires to. He's going to ground his electrical system to this wire, which then is going into the rebar, which is going into the foundation of the house. So in case lightning strike, you won't have that power surge. In case anything happens, this thing is going to ground it. Okay? So we have this right here. And then we have the rebar. We have our footings. All right. So after the footing is done, we have to get inspection. Okay? So we call it into the city or the county, whatever municipality, and then they will come in and they will inspect the footing to make sure that it is wide enough, it is deep enough, and that you do have your rebars in there. So once you pass that inspection, it means you can actually pour concrete in that footing. We will actually show you where we did that in one case. But in this particular case, on this lot that we're dealing with this property, we actually did what is called a monolithic pour. So we actually pour the concrete for the footings just as we would pour the concrete for the slab. All right. So we will get to that. But after the footings are passed, the plumber now comes in. So why do we need a plumber? Well, we're going to pour a slab, right? It's going to be a concrete slab for our foundation. But if you come and look in this video right here, if you look at this drawing on our building plans, this is our first floor. Okay? This is our first floor right here. This is our second floor. So for our first floor, what do we have on our first floor? We have a bathroom. And then when you come out of this bathroom, you have this water closet. So there's a toilet right here. There's a sink right here. Okay. This bathroom has a tub. So double vanity. All right. And then in the kitchen, we have a sink right here. So these areas, sink, our water closet, right, with the sink, our tub, water closet, our double vanity. All this means that on this first floor, on this slab, we have to have plumbing that's going to take care of all of these. Okay. So what the plumber does is he comes in, and you'll see it in our next video. He uses the foundation that is created by the concrete crew. Okay, the concrete guys come in, they take this house and they frame the perimeter of this house all the way around. So once they create this box all the way around, the plumber knows, okay, based on this drawing, I can go to this wall right here. I can measure the distance that this wall has. Okay, so the plumber is going to also review the plans. And based on this box outline that's created, he's going to run his plumbing to these areas. So he's going to give us an area here where he'll have plumbing pipes sticking up. All his drain lines are going to be there. So in our case, when you look at the video, you'll notice that he has a plumbing here. There'll be a drain here to catch this. There'll be a drain here for the commode. There'll be a drain here to catch the tub. There'll be a drain here. And also, by the way, there'll be water lines in some of these areas. Okay. In some cases, he'll have water lines actually coming up. In some cases, the water lines will just come from the walls. But you will notice in the video, you'll see plumbing lines. You'll see drain lines. Those are about white 4-inch round pipes that will be sticking up from the ground. He's going to attach them all together, tie them in, and then from here in our video, he's not only going to put hot and cold water lines through here, through the slab. There's going to be a drain as well, a drain that also will cap into a vent. He's going to leave a long pipe sticking up right here on this side. And this is where he's going to fill the water in. He's going to fill this long pipe in with water. That water is going to fill all the drains that he's going to have. His drain lines are going to run through the lines of this slab, connecting these, connecting these, connecting these, and they're going to find their way out. Okay, they're going to find their way out. They're going to come out, and then they're going to lead out into what is going to be our sewer connection. Or in this case, is going to lead out to a clean out. Okay, you have to have a clean out, meaning that all these pipes, as they leave this house, they go out to go to the drain. There has to be a section outside that you can access to troubleshoot or clean it out if you have to do something towards the house or if you have to do something towards the drain. Okay, if there's something going on, you'll be able to access this point and fix it or figure it out. All right, so there'll be an area where the pipes lead out, and then from that clean out point is going to lead out going to the sewer connection, which is on site to our sewer tap. So the plumbing will be done within the slab, and it has to be done and inspected before they will give us the permit, or before they will sign off, rather, for us to even do our slab. Okay, so first, as you saw in the previous videos, we did our footings. We get that together. Then we're going to do our plumbing inside that slab. Okay, and that's going to pass inspection. So after the plumbing inspection passes, then we're going to do our slab. All right, then we're going to do our slab. And then after the slab is poured, then we're going to actually, not pour, but after the slab passes inspection, then we're going to pour the concrete. So no concrete gets poured on the slab until the plumbing that's going in the slab gets done first, right? Now, since we have 2 floors, and you're gonna see where the pipes are already situated for the kitchen, the half bath, the full bath downstairs. When we go here, right? When we go here to the second floor, we see that we also have bathrooms upstairs, right? We have bathrooms here. We have bathroom here. We have laundry here. Okay. What's a closet? So what about these? How do we handle the drain lines that is going to be needed to catch the water coming from the second floor? Well, what the plumber's going to do is when they lay out the plumbing for all of these, in our case, they're going to come here within this wall. And they're actually going to put in this wall like a drain here, okay? So this particular drain that you're going to see, you're going to wonder, well, where's it going to? Where's this drain going to? What is this drain about? And the thing is, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere, but it is. It's in place to capture the plumbing that's coming from upstairs. So there's going to be a couple of places that you're going to see a drain sticking up that doesn't correspond to either one of these areas. Like it won't be here, it won't be here, it won't be here, because these are already going to be directly on the slab. But there'll be additional ones like here, a few other places that will be sticking up. And the purpose of them is they're going to be inside our walls. They're going to be sticking up. When we frame the house, these pipes will be inside the wall. And what's going to happen is when we finish framing and they come to do these bathrooms on the second floor, the laundry, the bathrooms, all of these, the pipes are going to come down from the ceiling through the walls, and they're going to attach to these drain lines that are going to be sticking up. And that's how they capture the drains going downstairs, okay? Because these are all going to be terminated. When the house is done, these are going to be sitting directly. The sink is going to have its drain. There's going to have its drain. There's going to have its drain. So you have to have something that you're going to run your second floor pipes to. All right. And so that's what that will be. So this is how the plumbing is set up in the slab to prepare before we can pour concrete. All right. So let's look at a video about the plumbing slab, and then we'll come back and also look at video about the slab itself and before we pour. And then we'll also see a video about pouring. All right. All right, class, team. So this is, we're on the site, and this is one thing that I want to point out when it comes to the plumbing. We're about to look at the plumbing for the slab before we pour the slab. And one key thing that I want to note or point out to you is that when we do the slab and we prepare for the slab and we put the plumbing in there, we have to put water inside. Well, it's part of the inspection, but there's a reason for that. It has to maintain the water because this is how we make sure that there are no leaks. So in this particular case, we're having to do that again here at one of our lots. We prepare for the inspection, and the water was leaking out. So there's a leak somewhere, and we're about to get that corrected. Let me show you what's going on outside. Okay, so here we have the plumbing. The plumbing is done. Okay. This is to prepare for the slab. We're currently getting water from over there, and we're using that water to fill that pipe. Actually, that's going to be the kitchen, and that pipe is putting water inside this whole system. Okay, our water line is coming in. That's actually our water line. It's coming in. So here you have the water line coming in. It's tied here. All right. Now these are going to be inside the wall. We already used these strings to show where our wall is going to be. And then they put these pipes so that these pipes will cover the wall, will be covered inside the wall. So they basically have filled everything now to the top. You can see where all your drain lines are going, your vent, your drain. These drain lines are going all through there. This is what's going to be in your floor after the plumbing is poured. Okay, these are all your drain lines, your drain pipes. All these PVC drain pipes. All of these. So the way these are going, they're all pitched. They're all pitched so that this water will flow down. Same thing here. It's a little bit higher there, and it will flow this way. They will all come in. Now these are left here because when we frame this, there's going to be a second floor, and they have to tie into something down here for the drain. Okay, so when the walls go up, you'll see it. It'll make sense then. So they leave these up to basically catch what's coming up from up top to down here. Then they're going to flow all the way out here. Same thing. This is going to catch whatever's coming up top, flow out here, and then it's going to run all the way out. This is going to be a drain as well. This is going to be a vent to allow the water, the air, to come in or escape out, and it allows the water to flow. So here we are. All this comes in, and then it follows this path all the way down. Okay, now here there's a Y. This is called a Y. W-Y-E. Okay, it's shaped like a Y, but what happens is it's going to capture everything coming from that side. So you have water coming, you have the drain coming in, everything's coming down to another Y. It's catching this drain. They're both tying into here, and they're coming down and tying into this Y right here. So everything from the house, from here to here, is all coming here to this main point. From here, it's all coming down to this main point, and then it's going out. Okay, it leads out, and this is your wall. Okay, this is the footprint of the house. We're going to go down in detail on another video, but this is the footprint of the house. This is done first, and then they use this to measure and get their bearings as to where the pipes should go. Okay, so once it all comes through here, it has to exit, and so we put a sleeve. See that green pipe there? So this green pipe, it's a sleeve. So when it comes in, it hits that green pipe right there. That green pipe is going to go under our concrete and continue out. So when the concrete is poured, we're going to seal it. That way water doesn't go in or out from our side. All this is going to be concrete. All this is going to be covered. All of it's going to be covered. So it leaves out here and it goes to this pipe. Now, this is what we call the clean out. Okay, this is what we call the clean out. So basically, after water leaves the house, the drain leaves the house, we are able to come outside, and if there's any fault, anything going on, we can access it through here. And we can go back towards the house with it, or we can go towards the street with it. Now, this is covered up already, but after it comes here and this clean out, it leaves here and it goes all the way here. And it connects deep down into the sewer pipe. That's the sewer connection. That is what was brought out by the city. The county actually has brought these out. You can see them down there, because this is an existing subdivision. So because this is an existing subdivision, those sewer lines are already in. In some cases, if it's not a subdivision, you have to pay for the city or the county or whatever the municipality is to actually bring that sewer connection. It is called a sewer tap, and you pay for that. Okay. All right. So basically, here we are, and we'll show in a later video. You'll see where this actually connects. We'll show you that. But for now, the reason I brought this up is that they filled this thing with water. Okay, the whole system was filled with water to make sure that there's no leaks. Imagine if that doesn't happen and then you pour your concrete and then you have some kind of leak in your line. Well, then you got a major problem. One, how do you even figure out where to go to resolve it? And where in the concrete do you bust up to fix this thing? So this has to happen ahead of time. You have to put water in the line. It has to stay there, and it has to not drain out. If it drains out, then we know we have a leak somewhere. So they've now filled the pipe. So now we're going to see if it keeps up and stays that way. If not, then we have to go through the repair process of finding out where it is. All right. So right now we're done. We put water in it, and we're going to make sure that the water doesn't leak out. Another thing to point out, we've been having rain here, and normally when rain comes in, it makes it very difficult to troubleshoot if there's any issues, because even to pass inspection, all these have to be exposed. We cannot have water in here. They have to come in here when they inspect. They have to see the inspectors coming today. They have to see that there's no water standing in here. All right, so we've had rain, but obviously it's dried up now. So we put water in there now. We're good. Yeah, you can feel it. It's heavy, full of water. And it should be able to stay that way. That water should never come out. It should be able to stay that way. And then we'll see how well it does. Okay, so that's the plumbing phase for the slab. And I say another day or two, we'll check. That line should still be heavy. It should still be full. All right. Okay. And that is it.
Y los batidos con los que se había juntado, creo que hicieron el 5 junio y ahí tienen el puro abandonado, no hay quien se los termine, no hay quien lo ponga. Ya lo dejaron, le quitaron un tractor, o se lo escondieron, no sé qué pinche pedo trae otra vez con el...
All right, guys. So, team, I'm out here at 663 Lake Vista Circle. We're going to start getting the work done for preparing for the slab. All right. So we've formed the box. We formed the box here. And then the plumbers have come and they've used the box. Remember, the box was the basically the layout of the property, right? As we went over, the box is the perimeter, the outline of the first floor, the foundation plan. We've done that, okay? The plumbers came and they used the frame as a way to offset and know where to put their plumbing lines. They put all the plumbing lines in, all the water lines in, okay? Everything is in. They've put water in the pipe, okay? They've put water in the pipe. And this is a vent that's gonna go in the kitchen. They put water in here. So if you touch this, you'll feel that it's heavy with water. Water's inside. You have to do that just in case there's a leak in the line. It will show up. If this water goes down and there's no water in here, then that means we have a leak somewhere in our line. And this line, all this plumbing, is plugged up. It's plugged up right here. So it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. It's plugged up. So here we are. All right. So we've seen how the slab works. We've seen the foundation. And initially, we know that we went in and we dug the footings, right? We dug the footings. We talked about the width and the depth of it. And then after we dug the footings, we put on the rebar, right? We put on the rebar, okay? After we did that, we got it inspected. After inspection, the plumbers came in and they did their plumbing for the slab, okay? We've gone over that. You've seen the videos. Now, it's the slab, okay? This is where we pour the slab. And also to pour the slab, we have to go to our detail. How do we know? How do we know what to put on the slab? Okay, so if you're looking at your plans, you're like, okay, I see my foundation, I see my footings, I see all that, but how do I deal with the slab? How do I know what the slab is going to be? Well, once again, your details will give you what you need. Okay, so if we look at this, go up a little bit with it. If we look at our detail, this slab, okay, telling us we need a 4-inch slab, right? Our plans is calling for a 4-inch slab. Now it can be bigger. It can definitely be thicker, rather. It can be thicker. But for now, it's asking you for a 4-inch slab. We already know what they're asking for the footings. 1 by 8 feet, 1 foot by 8 inches wide and by 2 feet deep. Okay, so we know what it's asking for. The slab is asking for a minimum of 4 inches. Okay, minimum 4 inches on here. Now, if you go to your detail, there's actually has in the detail where you have like 5 inches here for the footing, right? For the footing side, like it comes up and then it goes up. So once you do your 1 foot 8 inches by 2 feet, you're going to have about 5 inches on top of this. Okay. Now, over here, you have your 4-inch slab. So this is the detail for your slab right here, right? This is telling you 4 inches. Your detail is showing you how it's going to go. So what is that detail? What's going to go on with the slab? Okay. I'm going to show you another section that you're going to see for your slab. So right here, it has your interior walls, right? It has your interior walls. And the interior wall is going to sit on what? 4-inch slab. What is inside your slab? What is inside your slab? You have the reinforcement in your slab. Now, I'm not talking about your exterior walls. Remember, this is for your exterior wall. Remember, this is for your exterior wall. This is the footing for your wall for the outside. But remember, we said that we have grade beams. We discussed the grade beams, right? All these interior wall reinforcement grade beams, all these interior walls. So when you come to your slab and you're coming to do your slab, you have your interior wall, which is right here, which corresponds to what we just looked at over here. All right, you got that? So this interior wall is where your grade beam is going to be. The reinforcement, because we said that you're going to have the second floor bringing weight down to the first floor, and the engineer has put in the details. So in these details, where your grade beams are, you have how many? 2 number 4 rebar reinforcement. 2 number 4. 1 here, 1 here. Just like how you had in your footings. So you're going to have 2 pieces of rebar that's going to go in your grade beam. You're going to dig this down some. All right. You're going to dig this down some, and you're going to have the rebar in there. All right. And that's going to be your grade beam. And you're going to see a video of it so you see how it looks. Now, how do you do your slab? This right here is showing you have a rigid insulation. Okay. But there's other things here that I'm going to show you. Let me bring up this for you right here. So I brought the section in a little bit better. Right here, it shows you how your slab is going to go. You're going to have a 4-inch slab of concrete that we're going to pour. But right here is how it starts. You're going to have your dirt, your normal dirt foundation. On top of that dirt foundation is going to be your gravel. It tells you right here, gravel. In this case, we use number 57 stone. Okay, it's like little tiny stones that are crushed, and we ordered about 2 truckloads for this particular property. So that stone, after your plummet is down in the ground, we're gonna pour that gravel over it. Okay, we're gonna pour that gravel over it, and then on top of that gravel, you're gonna have a rigid insulation right here. Rigid insulation. That's going to go on top of your gravel. Well, that particular rigid insulation is a piece of plastic, and you're going to see it in the video. It's 6 mil plastic. That's the thickness. 6 mil plastic. They have 3 mil. They have, thinner plastic, but we use 6 mil plastic. That's what's going to go in there. So when you put the gravel down, which covers your pipes and everything else, then the plastic is going to go over that gravel. Okay. And then you'll see it. And then after the gravel, which it doesn't quite say here, we always put a wire mesh on top of the plastic. So we have the gravel, we have the rigid insulation, and then we put the plastic, 6 mil plastic, which is the insulation, over the gravel. Okay. And then we put wire mesh, We have a roll of wire mesh that we put on top of the plastic. That's going to help bind our concrete. Okay. And then we pour concrete on it. But before we pour concrete, once we do it like this, once we set up the grade beams and put the rebar in there, once we set up the slab with the rock gravel and then the plastic rigid insulation, then we have to call for an inspection. An inspector has to come and see that we did it according to the plans. So the inspector is going to come, and when we do the slab inspection, remember we did the footing inspection, but we're now doing the slab inspection. Okay. So that after the slab inspection passes, then that means we've met the code that allows us to pour concrete. And then we will pour the concrete as you see in our video. So that is the process. Okay. That is the process. You dig the footings, you put the rebar in there. You call for footing inspection. The plumber comes and the plumber does his work and put the plumbing in the slab in the ground. We get that inspection done. Okay. And then after the plumber's inspection is done, we come and prepare the slab per what we just discussed. And then we get a slab inspection. After all those 3 inspections are done, we can pour concrete. Now, after we pour concrete, we don't need to inspect the concrete. We've done everything necessary to be able to pour concrete. One thing I would note is that in our case where we did what I called a monolithic pour, meaning that we poured the footing the same time we poured the slab, in that case, we waited until we had the plumbing inspection done. And then when we passed the plumbing inspection, we call for both the slab. After we prepared it, we call for both the slab and the footings inspection simultaneously because the inspector is able to check both things at the same time. So yes, on one lot, we actually call for a footing inspection. That was a separate issue because we had to do footings for that deal. But in this particular lot, we didn't have to call footings separately. We called it in the same time that we called them for the slab because we were going to do one monolithic pour. Okay, so here's the video of the slab and, us pouring the concrete. All right. Okay, so now let's discuss the other part. All right. Here is the footings, but within your building area, what you're going to have is what we call grade beams. So grade beams are like footings. Okay, if you look in the plans, I'm going to show you, we have grade beams. So grade beams are reinforced areas where the architect felt that we needed to have additional support. So within the plans, if you look in the plans, when we see the grade beam, you will see that inside of the house, there are areas that have been dug down. Okay, areas that have been dug down, like here, all these, where you see the rebar, running through, these are called grade beams. Okay, so they're all through here. It's not the same as your footing. But it is a reinforced area within your construction or within your foundation. So that is called a grade beam. And you see how they've laid it out here. All right. Now, what else goes on in your slab? Well, once you've got your footing, the other thing that you're working with is your slab. So what's part of your slab according to your diagram that you saw? Well, there's aggregate, right? You have your dirt. You have your dirt. You have your aggregate, your number 57 stone, your aggregate rock. Then you have your 6 mil plastic, your barrier. Okay? That goes over that. You have your plastic that goes over that. And then you have your wire mesh. Your wire mesh that goes over the plastic. Okay? And this is what you need in order to pass inspection and to be able to pour your concrete. So once we've arrived at this level, the next step is we pass inspection with the county. After we pass inspection, we're going to pour concrete. All right. So this is your this is your foundation plan. This is how you get that part done out here in the field. All right. Okay, very good. All right, we're preparing to do the concrete. Preparing to pour the concrete. All right, at the site here, 4663 Lake Vista Circle. All right, our concrete crew is arriving. Our crew's arriving. All right, now. This is a boom truck. This is a boom truck. Okay. Now. All right, team. So you see that big boom truck behind me. Okay. When we're pouring concrete, because of the distance of the house from the street, many times we have to bring in a pump. Okay, we have to bring in a pump truck to pump the concrete from the concrete trucks onto where it's going on the slab. All right. So we have two options usually. We usually have a line pump, which is there'll be a pump closer to the street. We have to get a special concrete mix. The concrete truck that comes has to be mixed specifically for the mechanism we're going to use to pump it. So if it's a line pump, then we will use a special mix from the concrete company. However, in this case, we're using a boom truck, a boom pump. So it's a boom truck that's going to have a big boom on it, and it's going to pump the concrete. That one allows us to use the normal concrete mixture that's going to come in the concrete truck. So we don't need a special mix. Okay, it's going to be the normal concrete truck. It will pour concrete into this boom truck. The boom truck will lift and will pour in all the footing areas, all around, and it will pour the slab. Okay, so that's what that is. We'll show you when it's working so you see how it works. And also, for the most part, there's a couple of things the concrete company is going to ask for. They're going to ask you, what kind of mixture do you need? What are you pouring? All right, so for residential purposes, for what we're doing, this is not commercial, so for residential, there's a few things that they'll ask you for that you will need to know. They're going to ask you the PSI. You're going to say 3,000 PSI. And then, all right, something quick to note. This right here is the electrician. The electrician put a conduit right here because we have to have wire that goes into where our island is going to be. So because our island is going to be somewhere here in the kitchen, we're running a conduit so that we can run wire, and that's going to go inside a concrete pour.